I don't mind DC animated movies. So thusly, I did pick up Justice League and RWBY, Superheroes and Huntsmen, Part 2. Yes, we got the first part of this, what was it, about 6 months ago or so. I did review it at the time. And here I am with my review for Part 2. So does this live up to Part 1's? Is it any good? Let's get into if it's any good. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review for Justice League and RWBY, Superheroes and Huntsmen, Part 2. Yes, so this is a PG rated animated movie with a runtime of 1 hour and 15 minutes, and it is the second part to that first film that we did get not too long ago. In the last one, obviously the Justice League were trapped inside the remnant cyberspace with the RWBY team, where they had to sort of learn to get to know one another, and the film ended with a tease of a follow-up that would be set in the Justice League world, with the RWBY team coming over there to assist with them. So this film here finds the Justice League, they've returned back, only to find out that the grim creatures from the RWBY world have followed them through and are multiplying their powers and all this sort of thing. They bring Black Canary up to speed, and they have to go and hunt down and find the RWBY team to bring them over to assist in fighting these creatures and fighting Kilgore and fighting a villain called Watts. Not only this, but you get some villains from the DC universe, little known villains, Killer Croc and a couple of the Flash's villains, join the superhero team to take on what's going on their world. So, that's the basic premise for this film. Like I said, 1 hour and 15 minutes, and boy did it drag. It was long. It was long. Now, the problem is much akin to when you have a comic book crossover. You have a comic book crossover. I've not read, okay, first of all, I've not read the Justice League and RWBY comics, so I can't comment on them. But in the past, whenever Marvel and DC joined up and done crossovers, you used to get one that would be from the DC side of things, DC point of view, and then you'd get one from the Marvel side of things. Each side would do their own, and that's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. It feels like the first one was done by the RWBY people, and this one is done by the DC people. That's what it feels like. There is a bit of connective tissue going through with the Flash dealing with the issues of what happened in the previous film and what happened to him and all that sort of stuff. So there is connectivity, but each film can be watched essentially as a standalone movie. The problem I have with it is it's just so weak on story. It really is. The film's got 3 writers on it: Monty Owen, Megan Fitzmartin and Eddie Rivas. Not only that, film has 3 directors: Yasa Bayola, Dustin Matthews and Kerry Shawcross. You know the saying about too many cooks in the kitchen, and that's exactly what this feels like. So obviously they get together, they find the RWBY team. The RWBY team come through. Now the RWBY team have to deal with getting new powers from being in a new place. But then we have that sort of separation, that segregation of characters, where you kind of team up a RWBY character with a DC character and they go off and do something, and you have this about 3 or 4 different times. And it just feels stale, it feels tired, and it's just them fighting these creatures for the majority of it. Just fighting, and in each location with these different characters fighting these creatures. So there's a very repetitive nature to the story element of the film. The voice cast, I mean, I didn't like Superman. I don't like the Superman voice in this whatsoever. Superman still looks very, very young, and has got this very deep, broad voice. Batman's good, I can't knock that. Superman's the one that really bugged me most of the way through. The animation is a form of computerized animation in it. And again, I'm not sure if I liked it. I don't like the movements. It just didn't really work for me. This whole film is a bit of a letdown for me, to be honest. I was looking forward to it. The first one I was confused by because I've got no idea about RWBY, and it got me looking and watching some of the RWBYs, and had me pick some of them up. And so I was sort of looking forward to this one as a continuation, but it just, like I said, it feels like that comic book-esque. We've done one adapted by us, now we're doing one adapted by us kind of a thing. Had that kind of a feel to it, and that really put me off. Ultimately, it's a film that isn't particularly good. I was watching it, but to be honest, it was like noise in the background, and I started looking at my phone and things like this. It didn't grab my attention like some of these animated movies do. I can't really think of any positives about this movie. I really can't. I'm struggling to find anything that really stands out and jumps at me as saying, do you know what, it was worth it for that. Yeah, bit of a poor one, really. Bit of a disappointment, a bit of a letdown. So I'm hoping there's no more films that visit the RWBY universe and pit together Justice League and the RWBY characters. Enough is enough.